LA, the new studio, brought to you by the place to podcast. So, dude, yeah, tell me about yourself. So you were born, and then what happened?
So I grew up in Massachusetts, like like an hour outside of Boston, in a small town of like 4,500 people. So
small town vibes.
Yeah, much different from LA. But like as a kid, I was like super into like music and also like building stuff. Like I was into like inventing things.
No way, that's freaking rad, actually.
So I was like into that, and then also like making videos, which is funny because that's what I do now. So this is like, I'm older than you, but this is back in like the
probably not by much.
Yeah. I was like into like the camcorder, like just making like funny videos. I mean, this was like pre like Jackass and all that. So it's like funny stuff, but whatever. It was just like fun, creating. So I always loved like creating.
Same.
So when I was like getting older, I was thinking about going to college for either like music or engineering because I like building things.
It's content.
Yeah, and then so I got into anyways, I chose like mechanical engineering, and I did like that for college, and then I obviously like I still like love the music and creative side of things. When I got out of college, I worked for like a software company that made engineering software. So I was like working a lot on stuff in like the aerospace industry and all that. Way. But I always had like an entrepreneurial side of me too. Like when I was in college, me and my buddy started a business making kegerators like for people. And this was before like
keg refrigerators.
Yeah. It was before like they were like our thing that you could buy.
Oh,
like
sick.
So like my engineering buddies and I like we made one for our own like house that we lived in, and then like other people like can I have one of those? Yeah. So, then I worked in the field for a bit, and then I had a buddy of mine who was like, hey, like I'm doing like web design, like as like my own, like, he was like freelancing and he had his own clients. And this is back when like web design and development was all kind of like one thing. Like, and he was like, I need help though. Like, would you want to maybe like work with me? And I was like, sure. Like, I'll just quit my job. Like, I just did.
What did you do? You design websites? Or
yeah. So like he was into that, but he was like, I need help with like everything that's not like web. Like I need help with like project management and like accounting and like anything that was like just like client management, like everything. And I was like, yeah, this sounds like a fun challenge. So like me and him and another college buddy of mine, like we started a small little like agency.
Oh, sick.
And we were doing that. And then but I was also getting back into music at that time. So I was playing in a band with one of my cousins who like I grew up with playing music with, and we were all living in Boston together. And then so I was like kind of balancing like being self-employed. Like, I mean, even when you're poor, like one of the benefits of being self-employed is kind of do whatever you want. So like we had a good thing going with like the web business. But like it was also the flexibility was the best part of it, right? So like we'd go out and do like tours in the band, and then like I'd come back and do like find clients and do work and stuff like that. Also, we were doing like we were really into side projects, so we were always doing like client work. Like you own a business, you're like, hey, can you build our website? We do that, but then we were always like trying to build our own stuff too. One of the guys who was my partner, he was like super into video games, and this is back when the Nintendo Wii first came out.
Oh, okay.
So as a side project, he built like a site where, because everybody was like making Miis, like the little avatars. That was like the first like self-avatar thing. So everybody was making like these avatars and sharing them, and he was like, oh, I'll just make a website so everybody can like post them on here. So then that like became like the biggest thing we were doing.
Oh no!
It was just like this total like side project that we were like hosting out of a closet like in our house. So anyway, long story short, we ended up selling that to like a video game publisher because they wanted to get into like the basically like the creation space, Mm-hmm. And he but the guy was real mastermind behind it. Like I didn't do that much. Like he was really the expert in it. So he ended up, we did like a small like acquisition, like pretty much like an acqui-hire. So one of the guys went to work for the video game publisher. And then at the same time, like I was getting more into the music and focusing on that. So anyway, like I played in this band. We had like a moderate level of success. Like we could do tours. We sold like a lot of albums out of we would tour in an RV.
That's sick.
Yeah. And then this is like this whole period of time is like a decade worth of time. And then like after like the last tour that we did, like I think we were all pretty burnt out, and we were like we knew we were like, it's like when you play in a band and you tour and you do you record music and stuff. You kind of get in this cycle where you're planning like a year in advance of everything. Like you have to schedule a tour like at least like 6 months in advance.
Yeah.
So we got back and we were like, all right, like we don't have anything scheduled. We're all burnt out. Everybody is like broke, you know. Like I was lucky because like I kind of worked for myself, so I could pick up like side projects and stuff. But all the other guys, and this is like pre-Uber days where like the gig economy would have been perfect for us. But like all the other guys in the band would have to go get a real job, and like swear that they're not going to quit in 3 months, and then go quit. You know, like that's what they have to do. Like no, I'm here to settle down. Like don't look at my previous resume, and then they'd be like, all right, we're going on tour. I got to quit. You know, so like that was like our life for like many years.
Wow.
And anyways, we came.
What kind
back.
of band?
We were like, I mean, a rock band, but like we were original rock band. We loved like the Beatles and like Neil Young and that kind of influence. I mean, I also grew up with like grunge and stuff, so that was kind of in there. The name of the band was The Wandas. Like all the stuff's on Spotify still. You can check it out. Every now and then, I actually include some of the music in my reels just for fun, get a little residual. But yeah. So anyway, long story short, we were all pretty like toast at that point, and I was like, you know, I haven't like worked for anybody else in like a decade. You know, like maybe I should just see like what it's like getting a real job. So I looked around just to see what was out there for fun, and like most of my experience at this point was around like web and design and development. So I was like, maybe I can just go work for like another agency, and so that's what I did. And then like I thought I was going to do it for like, you know, a year or two or whatever, and like, but fast forward like a decade went by.
Oh man, that happens.
I worked my way up to like the C-suite, and like so worked as like, you know, an executive, and helped like you know, a lot of other smart people. Like I was just like on for the ride, but like you know, brought it to like a private equity acquisition. And you know, but and now we're getting up to like modern days, you know, like, and so, but while I was doing that, I had this love for Las Vegas, right? Which is where we are now. Or we're in LA now, but where I am now in my timeline, which was like, I was always through all of this, you know, even when I was on the East Coast, I'd always go to Vegas. Actually, I should say I moved to LA like 10 years ago, and so it's very close to Vegas. And I was always everybody's Vegas friend. Like if they're coming to Vegas, where should I stay? Like, and I'd be like, oh, I'll meet you there. And then it's like, well, remind me again how to play craps. Like it was like always all that stuff. So I was like, I just wanted to get back into doing something creative, and like I was like, I'm just gonna start creating content about Vegas and kind of demystifying the casino experience, and just like making it more approachable. You know, going up to a table your first time is pretty intimidating, and like,
it is kind of scary.
and I was like, I'm gonna just start doing this and not really think about it from the business side of things yet. Because I was going to do the opposite. Like I always would think like, all right, well, what's the business here? Like how are we going to make money, and like how are we going to drive revenue? Which is super important. Like that's what you should do.
That's the only way I think. Yes. I'm like, that's exactly how my brain is wired.
You should do that. But I was like, I'm just going to start creating stuff, and then like, because I didn't want to get bogged down on the like, well, where does this all go, you know?
Yeah.
Because that can be a little bit like paralyzing.
But that's pretty good, like depth of field, right? Like depth of vision. Like some people don't even have that. They're like, let's just go wherever.
So I thought like I'm gonna like eventually I'll get to the point where I'm selling some sort of like product or service like related to what I'm doing. But I'm just like I'm just gonna do audience like building for now, and then the things like the ideas that I have will get more clear as like I kind of work through that journey. So like that's what I've been doing.
Dude, so is that like how you got to this position, was like you were able to like partake in the exit of the last organization and like kind of take something away where you were able to just like only focus on creating content for?
Yeah, I mean that's where I'm like so yes, I'm also like I'm working towards doing this like full time. It's not like I'm not all the way there yet. I mean maybe I could be. But maybe I'm being a little like, it's funny because like when I was in my 20s, like I literally just like, quit my job.
Let's go on tour.
I quit my job. I was like, and I thought that was a great experience. Like when I started the company with my friends.
Yeah.
But like now, like I think like what can I learn from that experience? Which is like there is something to be said for just like jumping in head first and like not having a safety net and all that. It does force you to kind of like solve problems, but there is also something to being like, well, what is like the plan here? And like there is a romanticizing of just being like, screw it, I quit. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna work for myself, and
Yeah.
I was like obsessed with that. But then I think like, well, if I could do it again, which I'm kind of doing now, like, well, what would I do? Well, like I would just be a little bit more thoughtful about like how I like approach things. I also have a 7-month-old baby,
Yeah,
so like,
I was gonna say.
so like I have to be a little bit more
Yeah.
like thoughtful in all of this. But
Yeah.
even if I didn't, like I feel like I'm like taking that experience and then like coupling it with like I've learned a lot like
Yeah.
working for other people and that stuff too. So like yeah, like that's where I'm going now.
Well, I think time, like, yeah, you need time to develop those skills. And, like, I think as you're getting older, like, I think you could only get the level of, like, understanding that you have for, like, approaching business through experience. Because, like, yeah, when you're young, you're like, who knows how it's going to work out? Let's just do it. But, you know, when you have a family, like, I'm married, I have a wife, a 3-year-old. So, like, yeah, you think a little bit more thoroughly through the experience. But I think that you should still, like, I think you should still dive into it and like kind of face adversity and having like a family almost like I feel like it is a superpower. Like, and this is kind of esoteric, but I feel like the universe or God can't let me fail because like a lot of people depend on me. Like, you know, like a lot of people, I provide jobs for a lot of people. And so like, it's almost like if you build it, they will come, like that movie, you know? So it's like, just build it. And like, you know, as long as you do everything right, like in the best of your ability, it kind of like unfolds like step by step by step, like all the things that you need. So like, it's really dope to hear your story because I did music too. And like a lot of successful people I know, like kind of went that route. Like, let's try to make, because I think music is such a like, it's like bringing a project to life. And I think that's what success is having an idea and being like, okay, I'm taking this idea and I'm taking it to market. Like, you know, and doing music is that. It's like you create this whole like thing, music, artistically, you put your soul into it and then you're like, let's take it to my and that skill of like doing it could be any idea. Like doing that repetitively, like that's what I tell Josh here. He's like, he started a segment at the LA or at the Vegas studio called Live at the Pod Place. So it's like musicians could come in and they like, we live stream them playing their instruments and stuff. And I'm like, dude, this is a skill. Like you having an idea and then bringing it to life. Like if you do that over and over and over again, it's like you could create success in any venture. Really.
All the like some of the like most successful people I know now were like former musicians. And it's like I do think part of it is because it's such a grind. Yeah. Like it's so hard. Like the people that I know and I have friends who are still in it. And I would say a big part of success, and this is not to take away from them at all, it's actually a credit to them, is just keep going. Yeah. You know, like the people, and as long as you're like improving yourself, you know, like there's 100%. Like we all know like the cover band who's been playing the same place for 20 years and they still make the same mistakes and stuff because they're not really trying to get like better. But like the friends I have that like literally just like kept going and getting better and better and better, like they're successful now. Yeah. But like I also think like the level of work that they had to put in, you know, like I look at people from the tech world, like I'm like, okay, if you apply this in tech, like you would be like a multimillionaire now. Yeah. And you're like grinding for like $40,000. You know, like working really, really, really hard. That's true. So like I do feel like there is something about it that like really like gives you good work ethic. Cause like, for sure. Like we were like great. Like we had like this 25-year-old like 30-foot RV that we would basically live in for like 3 months at a time, and like we would be like, oh, like we just got to make $100 so we can get gas, you know, to get to the next place. And people who are in that world, they're like, so what would you make like at a gig, like $5,000? I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? we would make like 100 or like 2 like. Like you could do a corporate gig, you know, where somebody will pay you thousands because they just assume like, oh well, we can't pay these guys like $500. We're gonna give them like a few $1,000s. But like we're like, you know, no, we'd be in like, you know, North Carolina and being like, we're selling CDs so that we can get enough gas to get to the next place. But yeah, it's a great life lesson. Yeah, you just tell people, like, hey, we need gas to get to the next place. Like, buy our CDs. And like, you get some. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. So, what brought you to LA? Like, what made you be like, you know, from East Coast small town, like, let's land in LA? So I was living. So after like through all of that, like I was living in Boston for about 10 years, which was great, and like spending a lot of time in New York. Like a lot of people go from like Boston to New York to LA, like they make their way out to like the easier living. I skipped over the New York phase, and part of it was like the work opportunity. Like I came out to help with an acquisition and stuff for the company I was with. And it was just a little bit of like a good life change. Like I had grown up, I've been to just about every state from traveling with music, except for Hawaii, which is kind of a shame because everybody in LA goes to Hawaii all the time. But
have you been now? Or
no, I
still
haven't.
not-
Which is
still
like
not
it's like
yet?
shameful, you know. Like,
Oh,
but
dude.
I have to.
Hawaii's it's burnt out now, but
Yeah.
you might have missed the wave.
I know. I'll get there. But anyway, so yeah, but like we had these like crazy. I mean, winter in the East Coast is always a bit rough, but I was used to it. I never like hated it or anything. But I just remember like we had these 2 crazy back-to-back winters where we got like 120 inches of snow and like just,
120
yeah,
inches. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I just remember I was walking to work. Well, I was walking to the subway, the T in Boston, at like 6 in the morning. And it was snowing, and we had so much snow, and so the sidewalks they snow blow, but like it's like a V, you know, because the snow keeps getting higher and higher. 'Cause it's not melting, so it came down to like a path of like 12 inches wide
Between like buildings or like
like the sidewalk, yeah, like so there would be a big like snow mound that was like the like you're in between like the street is like going by, but the snow goes up super high, and then on this side is like a parking lot or something. But yeah,
you're just like caved in.
Yeah, so I'm like walking right, and it's like this like nasty like slushy, like the ground is like slush and like freezing rain, and I'm just walking in this like long tunnel of a sidewalk, and I'm looking down so I don't slip because I'm walking like 1 foot in front of the other, and I look up and me and this dude are in like this 100-yard like channel of snow, and the guy is on crutches in front of me, like and we're just like stuck, like there's like nowhere to get around each other.
Oh shit!
And I was just like, there's got to be like a better way, And then at the time I was like, you know what, like maybe the West Coast like sounds like a good idea, and my wife was up for it, and we were cool, yeah, and we love it here. Like,
so how long have you been with your wife?
I don't want to mess this up. So let's see. We got married in 2013. So we've been married for 12 years, and we dated for 7 years. So almost 20 years. Yeah,
Holy
we
smokes.
met like in Boston after college and everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's the secret?
I think just like I think just like really enjoying the time you have together, but also like giving each other space, like having things that you're both passionate about, like, and having some shared passions, but like having like separate passions, I think is important, because it's just like it lets you become like fully formed, but then also like you can be like one as well. So I think that's worked for us.
How has the dynamic changed with you guys? Waited a while to have kids.
Yeah, like we almost didn't. I didn't know if we would.
Yeah.
Honestly, like we're into our 40s. So like it was kind of. I definitely feel very blessed that like we had that. But yeah, it's like, so I'll say it's like it's not, so it's completely different, obviously. Like it's not like I say it's not different, but we're like we're older, right? So like I'm still doing all the same stuff I'm doing, just less of it, and like at shorter durations. When we were single, or not single, but when we didn't have a child, like we'd go out to dinner every Friday and Saturday night, and we go out and eat at like 8 and get back at like midnight. Yeah. Now it's like we go out like once a month, and it's like at like 5 p.m. Like so we're still doing the same stuff, but like I don't like. When I look back, like probably like I would say like have kids when you're younger if you can do it. Like I'm probably not going to be like on my deathbed being like, oh damn, like I wish I waited longer. Yeah. But like one of the benefits of waiting longer is that like I don't have any like FOMO of like not being at the club. I don't care. Like I wasn't doing that anyway. Yeah. So like, but it's different. I mean, like obviously like everything is through the lens of like our kid, and like just like trying to like like not completely screw them up.
Yeah, dude. Are you, so I had my daughter when I was 30. She's about to be 4. Maybe I was 31, something like that. But me and my wife were together only for like 3 years or 4 years before we had it. So you guys were together for a long time before you had kids. So you really got to experience like everything.
I know.
So.
I know. That's what everybody says. So like, like, do all the traveling and everything. Yeah. But like I like, and again, maybe it's just you kind of like reframe life. Like I remember like one of the things we were like, again, we were like, we weren't really planning on having kids. I mean, obviously, if we waited till our 40s, like there's definitely no guarantees at that point. I mean, I feel so blessed because we have so many friends who are even considerably younger, and they're like having trouble and like so like. I mean, it's a complete blessing. But I when you go that long, like you're like used to your life, and you're like, well, it's going to be different and stuff. But I remember one of the things, like I saw a family who was like, it was probably like a family of 5. There was like, 3 kids, and like they were all out to dinner, and they just looked like they were having so much fun, And that like it kind of reframed like parenthood for me. This was before we had kids, but I was like, are we gonna like travel internationally like all the time? Like no, but like we could do it.
Yeah, you can do it. We went to Japan.
Yeah, exactly.
And Mexico.
And it's like, is it like gonna be exactly the same? No, but like when I saw like through the lens of that like family, I was like, all the stuff that they were having fun with was like stuff that I'd never considered. Like it's just like, they're just enjoying each other's company, and they're laughing, and like they're seeing their kids like experience things for the first time. It's like all the stuff that you can't really conceptualize until you have it. But so like I mean, we love it, and like definitely feel very lucky.
Yeah, I had a really hard time like adjusting. I had like a 6-month period of like it was like a complete identity shift. Like, everything I did the way that I used to could no longer happen. And then I was like, dude, I ruined my life. I was like, we're toast. I ruined everything. Like, but then I like eventually kind of came around, and now it's like the best thing. Like my daughter's like, she's about to be 4, and it's incredible. I love like watching her grow up, and we bring her everywhere. We like have been bringing her to build the studio. I bring her to work, and like, she's really integrated into our lifestyle. And like you said, we do all the same stuff. It's just like with the little human now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, when we first came home from the hospital, like I was like, oh shit, like this is like real now, and like just like the like just being like there's no break,
that part,
and like it's just, and we like all of our families on the East Coast, so like and again like. It's our choice to be here, so like, I'm not like begrudging it at all. It's just different, like there's no like grandparents like pop over for an afternoon, like it's like all on us. So like that was like a little bit of an adjustment, but then it's like you go out for walks, and like it's just like whatever.
Yeah, I mean we're the same way. Yeah, but her parents are, her whole family's in Japan, and my parents are in San Diego. Well, my dad's retired in Mexico, and then my mom and my stepdad, like, they don't help out much. Like, they're living their life, traveling and doing whatever. So we're, like, basically on our own.
Yeah.
And it's cool. Like, you just make it work. Like, it's like you don't have a choice. Like, you gotta just...
I don't, like, it's not like I have anything to compare it to.
Yeah.
And, like, we went into it, like, fully knowing that was going to be the case. So, like, I don't view it as, like, it is what it is.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like, it is crazy though that like they just, and as they get older, like, I mean, not that I've like experienced it all, but she just wakes up and like ready to go, like just I'm up, let's go freaking party, like let's live life.
Yeah.
So it's been great. It's probably like my favorite thing about my life currently is like being, like work and everything is going really well, but like being able to work around my like family life is probably. Yeah, like my favorite part. Like I've been able to structure that. But yeah, dude. So now how'd you get into the Vegas content? Like
so
you
like,
just
I'd always been like a super like huge like Vegas aficionado like I was saying, and like especially being in LA, like basically every time someone comes from the East Coast, they're like, oh, we're thinking about going to Vegas. I'm like, oh, I'll meet you there.
Let's go.
Yeah. So like. I was thinking about a little bit like down the road of like, well, what is like the next thing I want to do in my life, like career-wise, and I was like, even like my good friend who was like the CEO of the company I was talking about, like he was like, dude, you have to do something like Vegas related, And I was like, yeah, like I don't know what I would want to do though. Like, do I want to be like a casino host or like a pit boss? I'm like, I don't know if I want to like take the magic out of it. Like I love coming here, And I was like. I was sitting down by myself, like just eating lunch. Everybody else had left on this trip. And there was like a young couple who was like 21, 22 years old, like their first time in Vegas. And they're on their phone and they're trying to figure out like, how do I order a cocktail from like a table? Like what if can I get a free drink basically?
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you tip? And I'm just like, man, like this is it. Like there's so many people who have these questions, And all the stuff that I would always tell people, I'm like, I'm just going to start recording content,
Sick.
and so I built a little like home studio, and I started like doing videos about like jargon, like what does it mean when someone's like, I want a two-way bet on the craps table or whatever, or like, like what, like how do you sit down at a blackjack table? Like what do you do with your money? Like how do you get up? Like do you have to like ask for permission? Like, there's like all these things that people like are like confused about. And also like I think about like some of the best times I've had is like, somebody who like comes to Vegas for the first time and they're like, I always wanted to play craps, and like not a lot of money, like $100, and I'm like teaching them, and they're like having the best time ever, and maybe they won like $50 or lost like $50, but they're high-fiving everybody and they're getting like free cocktails, and they're like, wow, this night was so much fun. And I'm like, like that is a side of it like that you could experience, and like like I feel like that is a fun way to experience Vegas, and I'm trying to like bring that to other people basically.
Hell yeah, dude! I love craps. That's my like kryptonite, and my limit is $100.
Yeah.
I'll like pull out 100, and I'm like 3 casino trips up. So like,
nice.
I'm not trying,
great, man.
not anything crazy, like only a couple $100. But yeah, I could feel it though. Like once I'm like up, like I'm like, they're like, I gotta go, like now.
You start thinking of like all the bad decisions. Like maybe I'll just like bet all this in one roll.
Yeah, that's when you gotta go. I'm like, I gotta get out of
here. So I was like, I mean, like in my mind, I'm like, how awesome would it be to like basically make a career out of like coming to Vegas and like sharing the experience, and like. So I was like, that was like the long-term vision. It was like, I'm going to do something that I love doing, which is like educating and like, kind of like teaching and giving people, like showing people how to get a good deal, like all these things that I value. I'm going to basically like try to build a future around that. And so like I started like, casinos are actually a bit more like open to filming and stuff. It used to be like you can't even take a photo.
I was gonna say like I remember like you couldn't even like pull out your phone at a table, and like now there's so many people doing that.
I mean you still like some places are more lenient about it than others. They still want you to have permission, and some people will give permission to you like pretty easily. Others are still like really like strict about it. But like so when I started, I didn't have any permission or anything, so I was just doing like stuff in my studio, and then I would like do like under the radar like filming and like stuff. But now like I've gotten enough like a following or whatever like that like casinos will actually let me like.
Do they
film.
comp you and stuff like to come over there?
So like I mean, so it's interesting like when I'm like filming like gambling, like what I'm doing is like the gambling is usually enough to get like all the comps and everything anyway. So like I'm not. I will say that like there are places who have like extended like we'll give you a free room and all this stuff before they even knew what I was going to gamble. But what I was going to gamble was like gonna get me more than that anyway. You know what I mean? But like that is a thing where like you can get like comped, and like they'll give you a free room, like and then when you get like even if you are gambling, maybe they'll give you more than like you really would have gotten with just the gambling. Or go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you like charge them money to like hey, like I'll come do your stuff, and you can maybe like charge them or?
So like there are. I don't do that yet. Like I'm playing the long game. And I will say like there actually are. I've like turned down a lot of brand deals, mostly like there's a lot of like online casinos and stuff who hit me up, and like I don't play online casinos personally. I don't have anything wrong with them, but like I'm like I don't want to promote something that I'm not like doing like actively. Maybe I'll get into it and like then I'll be sharing it. So like those I've gotten a lot of people have reached out about like brand deals to like gamble on their casino and share the content and stuff like that. Like I got like I've got in at like MGM where they let me film and stuff like that. So like I'm just like focused on really trying to like I'm trying to like bring people into the world of it. Like what is it like to play like high limit blackjack? Like what are the high limit rooms like and all this stuff. And then like the long game, like sure, like I'll monetize it. But I'm just trying to like build up my brand and that for now.
Nice. And so so this isn't like what you do full time? Like you have a day job?
Well, I'm still like in the tech world.
Okay.
But yeah, like long term, like I want to be like a full time, well, not even I wouldn't say full time creator, but like have a business around this.
Yeah, definitely. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's just the new currencies. Like, attention is the new currency or whatever. Like people say. So like, however you could get around creating and leverage that, like that's massive. I mean, that's what got us this whole whole deal. You know. So,
yeah, absolutely.
So, do you have any advice? This is more like a personal question since you've like exited a couple companies. Our main goal is to like build up as many studios as we can, which we're like green lighted technically to do 50 to 100 with this organization, and that's our play is like build it as fast as we can, and then like get capitalized and potentially exit.
Yeah.
Do you have any like tips or advice on like?
Well, I mean,
it
sounds like you have a good deal going because you're basically, I mean, I don't know if everyone will be the same, but it sounds like you're getting into the spaces rent free.
Yeah.
Which is huge, right? So like, yeah, like, I mean, there is a capital intensive side of this business, which like not a ton, right? You gotta get microphones and cameras.
Like $20,000.
Yeah, but
location.
like if you don't have to be like locked into like long term leases and stuff, which can be obviously challenging. I mean, I think you're doing that right. I mean, who is your potential like acquirer?
I don't even know. We haven't gotten there yet.
I mean, it sounds like a little bit cart before the horse, but like a lot of times that will help shape like where you should be headed because you're like we're building this thing that would be attractive to like X, Y, and Z business. And then, I mean, I've dealt with some, private equity, and from what I've learned is like there's like a private equity for every
everything
for every business, and they all get very specific and very vertically focused, and they put together a playbook and they scale and like and they just kind of run their playbook. So there's probably private equity for podcasting and content creating, but I mean, I would just say like it sounds like you have the right approach and like you're moving at the speed of like not getting like over leveraged or anything crazy. But I think just like having a model, getting it down, like having success, not falling in love with like the volume, right away. Like that's great. Like you should focus on that and achieve that. But like sometimes people get so obsessed with like we opened like 10 or 20 or 30 or 40. It's like but like, are they all making money? Like, are they doing great? Because that at the end is like, you gotta make money, you gotta make profit. And that solves everything.
That really, profit solves all the problems.
Yeah, it does. So like, there is this like obsession with scale, which I think is great to like as a business owner to have that as your target. Yeah. But like, it's not like don't lose sight of like the fundamental business beneath it.
100%. So scaling has like been a. So we own a media company called Pathfinder Productions. It's like a social media content firm. We work with a lot of personal injury attorneys who basically make their content, manage their social medias, and help with ads and stuff. And that's been like the primary business for since 2016. This podcast studio business happened on accident in 2024. My wife signed a lease and then didn't want to do it. And then all of a sudden I was like, well, maybe I could turn it into this thing. And it like just has been on a freaking rocket ship ever since.
That's awesome.
And so So I've grown the Pathfinder organization, but it's not necessarily scalable because like the labor and then the cost like goes up the same as the growth of like gross revenue. So it doesn't like scale. But what's exciting about this is like the cost and like the marketing, everything is like fixed on this, and it could be just copied and duplicated. So we opened up our doors like technically September 1st, and we got our first like conversion on our advertising like 2 days later. And our main metric like for cost of acquisition per like new acquired customer is 3 to 1. So for every $1 we get, we put out, we get 3 back, and it's like that's our formula in Vegas, and it's been crushing. And it was really dope to get it here, and it like technically proved the concept. Now it's just like growing it. I mean, I spent $55 and I got $150. Like same thing. And so it's been going well. So I mean, for like just starting, It's
the space looks great. Yeah.
Thanks, dude. Yeah. I think it'll do well, and I think California is like there's more density, so I think like potentially has the opportunity to do more because there's so many people. But I guess we'll see. We're in it, I think
Yeah.
it'll work out.
So your main business, like you said, so you're doing like you're helping people with like content creation,
Yeah.
like marketing, or
Yeah, so the Pathfinder, the main anchor business is like it's hard to label it, but like maybe a marketing firm.
Yeah.
So like we used to work with a lot of direct sales teams like solar companies, but
Yeah.
solar like really like the market shifted for them. So
Yeah.
now we're working a lot with personal injury attorneys. So
Okay.
basically, yeah, we come into a business, we like do all their content, we like script them, we like film them, we do all the cool stuff, we do the edits, and then we like post it all to all their platforms. And then if they want to do like it's like the next tier is ads. So if they want to do ads, we film like ad specific for them, and then we launch their whole funnel and like help with their sales and stuff on the back end. So that's like the primary business that helped me grow like my quote unquote success. Not that I'm
Yeah.
like anyone substantial, but like
No, you're doing great.
and so that's the main thing, and then that like basically helped fund the first studio, and then that opened up the second studio too. So.
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. I mean, scaling a services business is hard, like for all the reasons you
Yeah.
said. Like it's the it's very capital intensive. You're working with people who are expensive and like
Yeah.
but if you can do it, like it's real profitable too, because it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to do. Like, not that running a podcast studio isn't hard, but like it's like business is always a double-edged sword. It's like all the things that make a business hard are like give you a moat, to be
Right.
like, you can tackle it.
Oh, I love that saying.
But like,
What book is that from? A moat. I heard Charlie Munger say it.
oh, okay, yeah. He's pretty smart.
Yeah, he's pretty smart.
I listen to anything Charlie Munger says.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, it's fine. I mean, it sounds like you have a good thing going. Like, I mean, you could keep scaling that, business. It's just, it's hard. You have to like, you have to get economies of scale through like operational efficiencies, and like, when you get big enough, you can like, have bigger and bigger teams, and then get efficient from like, consolidating HR and all that stuff. But like that's like, it's a grind, and each time you like bump up against like a level where it's like really hard to like push through, and you either have to like, you either have to just push through on your own, or you get capital, and it's tough. But like the fact that you're doing it is huge. It's a testament to your success.
Thanks, dude. Well, this podcast studio I think is really more simpler to scale, because with the content business or the Pathfinder business, there's like so many nuances. There's like an ad team, an editing team, a videography team, a customer relations team, and they all have to like work and synchronize, graphic design team. And so it's just like so many like moving pieces that it's not like, I mean, it is growing steadily, but it's not like this. It's like studio engineer, like come in, hit record, and then the service is fulfilled. Like,
Right.
it's very simple. It's like
It's a little
boom,
more
boom.
than that. I mean,
I
come on.
mean,
Like, don't
they're
sell them
doing
short.
a great job. Yeah, they do a great job. But in comparison to the nuances of like the other firm, it's like I see the scalability of it. So like that's what got me really excited about this venture. So
Yeah, and like you're doing a good job. Like I see the content. Like the space looks really good. Like that's actually, people ask me to come on their like podcasts and stuff. Not a lot. Like it's just the people do, And I always look to see what does the studio look like.
Yeah.
Like that's the first thing I look at. I honestly don't care. Like if you have like 1 million, subscribers, or like 10,
Yeah.
like I don't care. I'm not like too big or self-important to go on like someone with 10 followers. If
Yeah.
the studio looks good, because I know that like I'll get the content.
Yeah.
Like I'll slice it up too.
Yeah.
And like I'll get some.
It'll look great.
It will look good.
Yeah.
And I mean nobody will be like, oh, like what was that from?
Yeah.
They don't care. Like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
just want to see if it. But if it looks crappy.
Yeah, then you're like a Zoom video.
Yeah.
That's so
I know. I
funny.
hate the Zoom stuff. Like
Hold on, I just have to. Josh, can you go on this? I think we had a 2:00. Just like have him wait in the lobby. It's the top guy, I think.
Sorry.
No, you're good, dude.
Okay.
I mean, everyone. We could keep going till
Okay.
2:30, and he rescheduled on me anyways. Like
Okay.
he was supposed to come yesterday, and then I was like, I have. So it's fine. We're
Yeah.
good. No worries. No
Yeah.
pressure on us. That's what's cool about this studio is we have a lobby and like other separation. Like in our Vegas studio, it's like one big like studio, so we just have like every angle is like aesthetic, but it's like
Right.
if someone comes in, it's just like one space. They
Right,
gotta wait
right.
outside.
Right,
you know?
right,
But here it's cool because like we have a waiting room. They can have coffee there. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, this place
We're
is
good.
awesome.
I like this place.
I like it here.
So what's next for you, dude? Like, what do you see like the next 5 years, 10 years looking
I
for?
think
for you?
I know I'd be actually interested in what your feedback would be because like I'm at this point where like I could be monetizing, my creator work, for sure. Like I get a lot of people who reach out for brand stuff, but I'm kind of just like I've got my limiting factor right now is time, right? So like if I'm gonna work on a video, like it's gonna be for me,
Right.
because if I don't do that, like I'm not gonna get any videos out.
Right,
So
right.
like, do I want to work on like, X company's video, right? So like, but like my vision is to like keep growing like the Ross's Boss like
Yeah.
brand, and then work on. I have a couple ideas for like kind of related products or like services. That I could basically tie in and then like build a business around that, with the content being the marketing and still something that I really enjoy doing.
Yeah.
But I think I would like to get to a point where like I'm, kind of building a business versus just doing like creator work.
Yeah, well, I think you're like literally spot on. People think that I'm an influencer, like on my personal page. I'm like, dude, I don't make any money off influencing.
Right.
It's funny because this one of our attorneys who's a client, and she was like, "Oh, you're like an influencer." I was like, "I don't know who I'm influencing," and she was like, "Me." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, cool." Like,
Yeah.
but I don't make any money from quote unquote influence. Like, I think, service is the key to power. So like you have to be of service to people. And that's why I get so icky, because we work with a lot of influencers for clients to like make
Yeah.
UGC content or whatever for like their ads and stuff like that. And like the ego around like influencers, it's almost like scammy. I'm like, dude, you're not providing that much value. Like I could get a guy on Fiverr for like $250 to do the same video. Okay. Like it's about how much service and how much value you could add to the market. So I think your approach is spot on. It's like build a business, use the content as attention, and then kind of like figure out how to connect the two. Because that's like kind of how I do it. It's like a flywheel. Like my service is the Pathfinder firm or the podcast, and then I like my influencing is just like saying like, hey, I have the podcast and I have the Pathfinder business, and I'm just always like using the content in a similar way. Like, so what I do. So the only reason I started a podcast was as an acquisition model. So I'd ask an attorney, hey, you want to come on my podcast? They'd be like, oh yeah, you look cool online. They'd come on and I'd get them in the ecosystem, right? They film content. I get them their like social media edits, and they're like, holy shit, this is cool. They post it, dopamine hits. Then they want the next hit, like So that's why the only reason I ever started it. So like if you could figure that same thing out, it's like what the business is, and then kind of like just make content around like your life and like how you're doing it, and then kind of drive influence to the business. I think that's the best approach, because when also it gets sticky when like you're only leveraging creator revenue, like, hey, I'm only creating, like, I don't know, it just gets sticky to me, because then like if something happens and you have like a bad reputation, then like people are gonna be like, oh, he's a scammer, like, and then all of a sudden you have to like, your livelihood depends on your attention, so now you gotta like counter, so it's just like the coaching consulting business too, like that gets sticky for me personally. Like I didn't want to ever deal with that, so like
I don't, that's the thing. I'm like I agree. Like I think it's like if I'm gonna like promote something or whatever, like I do want to bring a lot of value to it, and like sometimes I'm like, how much value are they really going to get from like a 20-second reel? Even though like they think it's valuable, and maybe they will, but like I would much rather put all that energy towards something I'm doing, so I can just be constantly like talking about it, like, this is what I'm doing, and I love it and I value it, and I created it because I think that you guys would like it too. Like that's much more appealing to me.
So you got to make a casino.
Yeah, exactly. I know, seriously, that's a lot of work. I don't know if I could pull that off. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at, I guess.
Sick, dude. Well, I mean, you're raising a family, keeping the wife happy, that's a huge thing. I think. Wait till you start thinking about. What about school? How do you feel about school?
For the kid?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's like a whole thing that we never thought about until now. Like that's like one thing where it's like, oh, I don't even know where to begin. Like there's. The neighborhoods you got to live in or not, or like private school or not. And then like, I mean, we have a nanny now, which is great. And I'm like, all right, well, I mean, this is, and again, she's amazing and worth every penny, but it's like the cost of like sending your kid to college, basically.
Yeah,
you know,
bro,
for a
dude,
nanny, you know, like,
we're looking at a school and it's like $2,000 a month. Like, yeah, that's like
Yeah.
college price for
Yeah.
for like a 4-year-old. Like, dude,
Yeah.
what? Like,
I
that's
know.
kind of crazy. But like, how I look at it is like base level software. Like you said, the answer that solves everything is more profits.
Yeah.
You know, it's like just
Yeah.
get more profits.
Yeah. They make more money and
That's it,
everything's
so-
fixed.
So yeah, that's been a challenge for us, but and it's just so crazy because like when you see how much they pick up, like they pick up from you, and like then when you start seeing influences from other people that they're picking up, to me it's kind of like even for my mom, right? Like my mom is like they're great people, but they're like stuck in their place, like you know,
Yeah.
and so. Like she's like imposing their limiting beliefs onto her, and like to me, I'm like, what do you? That's not right. That's not an accurate statement. Like that's not the truth. Like you know, and
Right.
so it's scary to like once they start to get into school and they start like learning stuff from all over. Like
Yeah, you
it's
can't control
like,
it,
holy
you know?
crap! But that's a level of like control maybe that you
Yeah.
just gotta let go and get over.
And that's probably, I mean, that's like life, right?
Yeah,
Like let your
like-
kid, like, I can't imagine like how hard some of that's going to be, you know? Like, it's like
Yeah.
you got to let them, like if you only like let them take in your ideas, like they're going to
Yeah.
reject it, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
And then if you, you know, try to force them in one direction, but like if you try to like solve every problem for them, then like they're going to be like helpless in the real world.
it's
So
like mush.
you got to like let them like fail enough. I think honestly, like I think just like so like 90% of it is just like setting a good example, you know,
Yeah.
like there's so many, you know, parents who are probably like super like strict in one way, but doing the opposite in their real life, you know, and their kids are just picking up the real life stuff
Yeah.
anyway. So I just feel like, you know, if you're living the life that you want your kids to like, you know, mirror, like that's
Yeah.
probably like 90% of it.
Yeah, I agree.
But-
Well, and it's like so my wife, her dad was really really like strict and hard on her, and she's incredible. Like she's like so diligent, just like incredible at business. And then me, I grew up with a ton of adversity. Like you
Yeah.
know, like it wasn't like sunshine and rainbows for me. But like the life we've created is like incredible. So like how I try to tell her, it's like somehow we have to fabricate some level of adversity for her. Like
Yeah.
even if it's not like she's not like freaking hungry on the street or anything,
Yeah.
but it's like some level of fabricated adversity that she has to go through in order to like overcome the same like life lessons, like persistence, failure, like all those things. So I don't know how maybe sports, like that's the only thing I can
sports
think
is a
of.
good thing,
You know?
yeah, for sure. I think
So-
just like like not like doing your kids' homework. for
Yeah,
them, you know,
yeah.
like making them have to do like their homework and like it, you know, if they get a bad grade, like it's like, look, you got to overcome that. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's just like, there's a lot of like, I do worry about like the parenting of like what you're talking about of just like doing everything for your kid.
Yeah.
You know, and like you guys are blessed enough, you've built a great life for yourself, but like how do you give your kid everything that you want to give them without like just doing it for them?
Dude, it's hard. Like so right now she's starting to get smart enough to know that like dad could get anything on Amazon. She's like,
Right.
dad could get anything on Amazon. So I didn't realize like because I was like, oh, she's asking for stuff. Yeah, let's get it. And so I was getting her a lot of stuff, and then I was like, oh crap, this is probably not a good pattern. So now she's like, I'm starting to teach her like her ABC. So she knows like the song, but like I'm teaching her like what each symbol is and then like what each sound makes.
Yeah.
And then so like she wants a guitar right now. She's like,
Nice.
can I have a guitar? I was like, yeah, like learn all your ABCs and I'll get you anything you want. She's like, can I have a scooter too? I was like, you can have a scooter, a guitar. And she's like, what about a mermaid tail? I was like, you can have a scooter, a guitar, and a mermaid tail when you learn all your ABCs. And she's like, she's practicing every
Yeah.
day, you know? And then like once she can do her ABCs, I think I'll like start to reward her with like consuming books, like
Yeah.
specific books. And I think that's a good way to get like base level software installed in
I
her.
think so. I do a lot of Audible. My wife is like a real voracious reader. Like I just never like grew up like really like liking sitting down and reading a book, you know, which
Yeah.
I always felt was a weakness of mine. But like I do love like audio and
Yeah.
podcasts and stuff. But like I hope our daughter like takes after my wife and just like loves like reading books.
Yeah.
But if not, like listening and stuff is good too.
Yeah, I do both, dude. I
Yeah.
freaking like that's my favorite time is like when I get to read. I'm actually reading Charlie Munger's almanac currently.
nice.
That's why I like
Yeah.
like
It was on
that
the
sounds so
brain.
familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, the moat and
Yeah.
but yeah, I love reading. I like implement it with all the team. Like, hey, we have to read. Like, we read these specific books. I don't expect them to like physically read, but we do the audio like of the book because it's similar. I think like the two brain like they to me reading is like meditation because like I'm so focused on intaking the information physically that I can't think of anything else. So to me, like reading and learning from a book to me feels like a freaking vacation. Like you know, I don't have to problem solve. I don't have to think of anything. I'm just focused on this. So I love reading books, and then in the morning and when I'm driving, it's like audio. Like you know.
Maybe I'll get into it. Like we read to our kid every night, even though she's only like 7 months. But like we do the books and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll pull up a book and actually read it. But like I still like I think I prior to having the kid, like I would do a lot of running and like listen on that. I still do like tons of walks and stuff, and it's a good way to just like brainstorm stuff too.
And like you said, like as long as you're like getting a little better, like you know what I mean, it doesn't matter how you're intaking the progression. It's like you're getting a little better. Like success is, and I don't think success is monetary or anything. Like I think that success is just your consciousness expanding. And I think I'm big on this like metaphor. Like if you don't expand your consciousness, like imagine if you didn't know like the value of gold and you're walking through a gold mine, you trip on a big old gold rock and you're like, oh, this fucking gold there. And you're like, you know, like that's how I feel like expanding your consciousness is. Like as you grow your consciousness, you see opportunities and you see things in front of you that you wouldn't have seen if you didn't have that like level of expanded consciousness. So if you continue to grow like little by little, like I think that's all you can do. Like, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I mean that's a great kind of way of thinking about it. What do they say? Luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. So well, bro, it's been a pleasure. It's already been an hour.
Oh,
so
man,
like
that flew by.
That went by so fast.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for coming by. I know you're a busy dude, and like you know.
Thank you for having me. I'll come visit you in Vegas when
anytime, dude. Anytime we can do it again in Vegas. Where can the people find you?
Yeah. Oh, just go to my website rossisboss.com or just like search for me on social. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Ross's Boss. So
Let's go.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming by, man.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Boom! That was great.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.